hello. Sorry I'm late. I was trying to get some last minute baby stuff done before I started up. But hello, good morning, happy Wednesday. I am, big shocker, tired. Oh God, what happened to my just chatting screen? Hello? Did I hide the wrong thing? Oh God, hello? Hold on, why is this not, oh, here we go. There we go, I hit the wrong thing. Sorry, Chad, sorry, I hit you there, Lamau. Stuff at its finest. Give me 1 second. I just need to take care of Dawn. I might take that bottom. I want to get it done now, but I can't, obviously. I want to get that cardboard box and just cover the top. No, down. Stop, Dawn. Trying to get the Dawn not in the bassinet, so she learns that this is for the baby and not for her. But she's a baby cat and doesn't realize, so it's a little difficult. No, Dawn out. No, Dawn out. God, this is gonna be difficult. Okay, well, sorry, chat. Hello, happy Wednesday. It was kind of a rough night tonight. The background song is fun. Thank you. It's custom made. Okay. Eventually, Dawn will get the idea that she's not supposed to be in the baby's bassinet. Eventually, she will. No, I wish I had a water bottle to spray her. Because, like, picking her up all the time, just taking her out is not helping. No, Dawn. No. Okay. This is going to be a learning process. Until I can get, like, a heavy piece of cardboard to put on top. Of course, the biggest menace for the rat stream is a cat. Dawn, I mean, she's still a baby, so I know she doesn't understand. But it's, like, it's really, it's really exhausting when I'm like, Dawn, I need you to just not jump in the baby's bassinet so it's not, 1, covered in hair, and 2, so it's not like, because the babies have sensitive skin. So I'm like, I'm trying to keep them apart as much as possible, and it's just, and Dawn's like, no, I think I will cause chaos today. I think I will. Ugh, and there's just so much to do today. But I hope everyone else is having a good, we're gonna be halfway through the week now. Let's go. Let's poggers. Hello, first time catching you live recently, found your channel, love your mom, so pretty, thank you so much! Sorry, I'm literally putting my hair up because I'm sweating. And I had my glasses off, so I'm squinting. But welcome in, hope you have a good time. I'm just ranting about my cat, so don't mind me. Running a little late this morning because baby was fussy, and then of course, like I said, Dawn's being an absolute menace. So I love that for us. And baby, yeah, she's like, I am the baby. I don't care if you have another baby, I am still the baby. Can you not be yourself for 5 minutes? No, literally within the span of like a minute, she has jumped in the bassinet 5 times. Which is kind of exhausting. Okay. Put her in a shoe with some laces, she'll love it. I mean, she does sit on her shoes all the time. How are you today? Tired. Very tired. It was kind of a little bit of a rough night. Little less lack of sleep. Tee haha quirky. There's a bunch of things if you're on the house today, so I kind of wish we had the day off. But, because I didn't go on Monday, it is what it is. You're a John, can be good. John, no, I don't think I will. That's literally her. She's a menace. I also apparently didn't charge my phone overnight, but I did, so I don't know how that works out. Hello, Maple. And now Dawn has found the green bean toy, and she's ecstatic. See, at least Dawn has, like, the attention span literally of a kitten, because I literally took one of her toys, threw it across the room, and she's like, oh, yippee! And now she's distracted. Bee was a menace last night. Yeah, I think because she was up a lot yesterday, that she had, she was, like, overtired type of vibes. So, she was not having it. Poor BB. Poor BB. But yeah, other than that, I'm gonna catch up on sleep later. Hopefully get stuff done. I was really, I was on the, so, like, I have what's called, like, the EP hours of the morning for the BB shift, right? And, usually I play some games, but for some reason last night I just could not focus on anything. So I was like, I was just zoning out, doom scrolling. That's literally all I did all morning. No, Dawn. Oh, God. Dawn, what did I just tell you? Hold on. Here we go again. Here we go again. I need the box, but I can't do it until later. So this is gonna be a thing. This is gonna be a common thing. Well, welcome to the comments, War Boss. Let's go. Enjoy the emotes. Dawn wanting attention too. Yeah, and like I don't know if me taking her out of the bassinet, she thinks it's like a game. She's like, oh look, I jump in the bassinet and you take me out and I jump back in again. So like I don't know if it's a bad thing, but there's no other way to tell her like you should not be in here. Yeah, she wants attention, but I just want her not in the bassinet. She can sit on the chair, she can roam the desk, she can vibe on the couch, she can sit on the coffee table type thing, the kotatsu, like, man, blah! Burn emote. Sometimes I look at my emotes and I'm like, oh, where's this one that I use all the time? And I'm like, oh, I forgot the limited amounts. But we're watching 3 videos today, so I'm probably gonna jump in relatively quick, especially since I don't have much to talk about. Dawn jumped in again. Can we keep a Dawn jump count? How many times she jumps at the bassinet and I have to pause the video to take her out? Because that's gonna make editing really, really difficult. A bit off topic, but good news, chat. I've finally gotten a new used car. I've had it with my subs. I got a Corolla for your daily. Let's go, eat 'em! Hopefully, no more car breakdowns. That would be nice. I know, but because the bed sheet's not on, I really don't want her on it. Yeah, I know. She needs more emotes slash how you heard. No, to get the amount of emote slots that I have for emotes would not be a thing. That and I really kind of dislike that on YouTube you can only use the ones for your channel. Like, I wish I could use, like, Tetris emotes and everything. She found the one place you don't want her, so she's gonna stick herself there as much as possible. She knows. It's like she knows I don't want her there, and she's like, play games with mom, Lamau. But the bassinet is comfy, also Dawn. Yeah. She literally just, okay, you know what, hold on. Give me 1 second. I'm going to get this baby out of here. Like, she's getting fuzz all over it. Oh my god, she's actually destroying the bassinet cover, which is what I don't want. Okay, give me 1 second, chat. Just hold for 2 seconds. Okay, sorry, I'm back. I was trying to cover it with cardboard, but the cardboard is kind of flimsy, so it's not working. Baby stuff happening? No, it's the cat. She keeps jumping into the baby's bassinet, and I don't want her in there because she's destroying, because the bed sheet's on it, and she's destroying the stuff underneath it, and I don't want to do that, so, woo! Also less significant than newly acquired car, but my sampler box of Bricky-approved, Nurgle despised cheeky soap arrived today. Look forward to a nice warm shower after stream. Let me know how it goes. It'll be cool. I forgot they have soap. But hi, Pen! Okay, we're gonna jump in right away because I kind of want to just start because I have like 80 bajillion things to do today. So, we are going to start. Let me switch screens really quick. We're gonna start with the Skaven weapons. Okay, let me pause. Let me move over here. Pause the music. Hopefully everything's good on this end. Okay, move this over here. Does it work? Rats, yes. Okay, so we learned the Skaven clans. We learned the Warhammer fantasy races, and now this is the Skaven weapons. More rat content? Yeah, more rat content. Got here just in time. Look at us go. Also, if you hear some like coughing, I apologize. I'll try and mute when I can. I just have like this really mild cough that's just irritating my throat. But I didn't think they'd have their own weapons either. Let's see.
Skaven, a wonderful race of the worst beings possible, led by a council of somehow worse rats, and then topped off by worshiping a god that's even—
Does it seem kind of quiet? Should I raise the volume a little bit? Skaven weapon implements are greatest technology science of all. Yes, yes. I mean, I'm curious to see what it is. I know they have the rattling gun, which they mentioned in other ones, and then they have this, not radioactive, this green thing that they put in everything as well. So that's also... Yes, we make it louder, right? Okay, because I'm saying it seems really quiet on my end. It could be that the volume for the videos is, like, different.
more the worst. Every last one of them is a monster, and out of all the—
Yeah, it sounds a lot better, right? A little quiet. Yeah, okay, it should be a lot better now. Go up to 10 to 15%. I think that's what I did. Warpstone. Yeah, the Warpstone. Okay, that's what it is. Yeah, I couldn't think of the name of it. I was like, I know it's like the green thing. That's good. Perfect. Thank you. All right, let's dive right in.
Ones you can say to have something resembling decent qualities, which can be counted on one hand, none of them would make the Skaven an actual good person. These quote-unquote virtuous rats might appreciate other Skaven as a tool, but not really as a being. And for most of them, the Skaven by your side isn't a comrade to appreciate and watch your back. He's a threat to be wary of, and if you can help it, shove in the line of fire. Or even better, have him killed well before you reach the front lines.
Okay.
There's plenty of ways to achieve this. Having him implicated in a plot to overthrow another important Skaven is a great way to get rid of your rivals, and if that or any other clever schemes fail to work, you can always just stab them. But that's hardly—
Yeah, when all else fails and you can't do anything else, just delete the other rat. That makes sense. Warpstone's the best thing object in the world. Yes, yes. I mean, for the Skaven, it definitely is. Just a little more couldn't hurt, Slanesh probably, but...
productive. Offing a rival only gets rid of things. It gets rid of the rival, but also any use you can wring out of them before they die. Why not use them as target practice for a new weapon? Or better yet, have him hold the weapon. At the experimental stage, it'll probably blow up and leave the living target unscathed. Or even better still, turn him into a weapon. You think that exposable infantry are the only way Skaven throw the lives of their lessers away? Buddy, that is the tip
Did they just say turn them into weapons? Hello?
of the iceberg. The Skaven have all sorts of weapons, creations, and abominations, and all of them were the result of countless Skaven slaves dying to let them be made. So join me today as we look at some of the standout Skaven creations, be they—
You know, I shouldn't be shocked, because we saw that, like, the amalgamation. There wasn't, like, a Skaven with 4 arms, and then there was another one that was, like a worm rat thing. I shouldn't be shocked. Shouldn't be shocked.
technological, biological, or even both. Don't worry though, all of them are the ultimate human rights violation. But before we start the video, are you perhaps a bit hungry? If you aren't now,
Yeah,
I'm sure you
I'm a
will
little
be
hungry.
sooner or later, in which case
I
may I
had
introduce you
steak
to
for
Factor,
breakfast.
the sponsor of this video.
I mean,
Factor
we
is a
can-
food delivery service that takes
I don't know
all the
how old
stress
this
out of
video is.
mealtime. Instead of having to walk around the grocery
We could
store
probably-
wondering what you want to eat, you
Okay,
get
we'll just
chef-crafted
sit
and
through it. We'll just sit through
dietitian-approved
it. We'll
foods
do
sent
it.
right to your front door. No worries to be had about wondering
Good thing
what to
Skaven
make,
aren't
making
human.
it,
I
and
mean,
then
they're
cleaning it
rats.
up. You just get delicious and healthy food delivered right to your front door. All you gotta do is put the meal in the microwave for 2 minutes and And just like that, you've got something delicious to chow
Good
down
times
on.
rhymes with
All of
war
the stress
crimes.
of cooking just like that is a thing of the past.
That's the
There's some
Skaven
great
motto.
juices
I
and
don't care if it
smoothies you
isn't.
can
That's
get
what it is
too,
now.
which I highly recommend. And if you'd like a touch of something extra, Factor's got you covered. You can get yourself a
Hoggers.
gourmet meal plus from them as well. It's just as nutritious as the rest of what's on offer and even more delicious. It really lives up to the name gourmet. And as
Dang,
you can
it's
see
just
from
making me
eating
kinda
it,
hungry,
I am
though.
quite a fan of these bad boys. If you too would like to make your eating experience better
Dang.
than ever before, I've got just the thing for you. Head to
Skaven that turn into
Factor75.com and
weapons
use
sometimes
code
carry
50pancreas
other
to get
weapons, too,
50% off your first box plus free shipping. That's Factor75.com and code 50pancreas for half off your first box and free shipping. If you want to eat healthier and easier than ever before, you can do no better than Factor. So order some
Okay,
today
back
for
to
some
the
quality
rats.
fine dining.
50% off? Yeah, that's
Now
a good
then,
deal.
Go Gadget Rattling
it-
Gun.
It's a good deal if it's not expired. I don't know how old that is. Can't spell victory without at least some of the letters from war crimes after all. Yeah, you know, it's true. That's true. You make a fair point, Warboss. Oh. Why does it seem quiet
As with
again?
most things, we're going to work
Oh, no,
our way
that's
up
good.
to the more phenomenal ones. And in fact, we're going to start with an invention that's so low-key, it
Rattling
doesn't
gun?
necessarily harm anyone. That's right, there's a Skaven
Oh.
invention made without murder in mind. Still malice in mind, of course. That's a constant. The Far Squeaker, also known as the item that any images of are going to just have to be pictures of cell phones or some shit for almost the entirety of this section, because art does not exist. The Far Squeaker is just a phone. It can be big, it can be small, but it is just a phone, which if I remember correctly even had a FaceTime function.
How's my Discord rat doing? Wait, they have just one of their inventions is phones. Okay, all right. I don't want. Why is there no art of it? Do people just not draw phones? You know, the most evil intention possible. It's true. Yeah, I know it's really dangerous. Phones.
In a Gotrek and Felix novel. Invented by Clan Scryer, like most things on this list, the Far Squeaker is used for instant long-distance communication over any distance of the Warhammer world. It is just a cell phone. It is of course still made with malice in mind, because if the Skaven are making long-distance phone calls, they are setting up for an invasion or some other dastardly scheme. They're not inviting each other out to dinner. And because it's powered by Warpstone, as all things Skaven are, it's unstable as hell. If memory serves, the one Thanquil used blew up, which was somewhat to his relief because it meant the Council of 13 was done chewing him out for being himself. It can also apparently communicate across the multiverse, because when the Skaven used one during the end times, they accidentally talked to the Eldar. Not the High Elves, the Eldar. The voices that replied were described as elves but alien sounding, which
So they literally invented thing that, and no one else has this. Is it just the Skaven that invented it? Invented it? Wow, words good. Rats gotta get their dailies on their phone. Yeah, I gotta get their Nikkei dailies done. Ugh. It's just like the background thing's not usually important enough to get art. I mean, who doesn't want a Skaven like on a cell phone? You know, like breaking down like, you used to call me on your cell phone. Like, come on, that'd be so fun. You know, think of the memes. Think of all the memes. Skaven invented the most evil of all Twitter, Lamau. No. Rats, we are the rats. Far Squeakers are banger name. Yeah, honestly, they kind of cooked on that one. I'm gonna keep it $1.50. They kind of cooked. It's kind of a banger name. Guess this is how they call it nuclear strikes. I mean, communication, especially when you're like up against other people, is like super important. Yep, just the Skaven. No one else was like, yeah, we need ways to communicate. Let's make cell phones like the Skaven. They're just like, we'll wing it. We'll send like, you know, like we'll send a message eventually. Should commission art of a Skaven doom scroll. We should. Skaven invented social media, true evil. It's all according to Kaigaku chat. It all makes sense now. It all makes sense. Skaven invented cell phones. Oh my gosh.
which is the Eldar. You have surely seen an Eldar by this point. They are just space high elves. Although since it just said alien sounding, it could have been the Harlequins or Dark Eldar for all we know. Apparently, if you try hard enough in fantasy, you can FaceTime Eldrad.
Okay. Weapons.
Pretty much everything in this category is going to be made by Clan Scryer. First off is the humble Rattling Gun. The Rattling Gun is exactly what it
Dang it. My first guess was Rattling Gun, and I was wrong, and I didn't even guess this time. I was so close, yet so far away. So close, yet so far away. They use lame, unreliable stuff like magic and messengers. No. Especially communication across space and dimension, apparently. Yeah, for real, though. It's across the, like, they're just like, oh, we just contacted someone funny. How did they contact them if the High Elves didn't have cell phones? What is it, like, telepathically? Like, oh, I'm calling on my cell phone, but it's running through, like, your brain? Huh? Doors only invent that device so they could call elves. Oh, my God, that'd be terrible. Skaven in a shabby suit with a massive rock in the style of the first cell phones. Wait, do you think they had Nokias? Did Skaven invent Nokias? Because that would be kind of banger.
Sounds like. Imagine a Gatling gun, but the person at GW who designed this was probably giggling the entire time they were pitching it to everyone else with a name like that. What you do is you get one rat to hold the ammo and reload the thing, one rat to hold the gun itself and the crank, and then they point vaguely in the direction of the enemy and start firing. It can fire about 100 or so rounds a minute on average, which is actually a decent bit slower than the original Gatling gun, which based on a glance at the first page of Google, could fire about 200 to 300 rounds a minute. Given that fantasy is set in an era of pike and shot weaponry, this thing might as well be the barrel of an A10 Warthog for the amount of it's putting out. The original Gatling gun also didn't have the advantages of being able to be carried by hand, nor did it fire bullets of solidified hell energy at people, so there's also that benefit. A single Rattling gun is the sort of thing that could in theory destroy an entire platoon of another faction's standard infantry, and for once I will say this is the sort of thing that even the elves can't just deflect away from themselves. Can they deflect the first bullet? Oh yeah, sure. Sword
Can they deflect this, Fingy? Okay, continue, sorry.
Masters of Hoeth are cracked. Can they deflect the 99 after it is where the problem lies, to say nothing of the fact that there is never just one Rattling gun shooting at you. I mean, for a while they were sold in kits of 2, and now they're sold in kits of 3, so on the tabletop at least you were forced to contend with 2 at a minimum. And what you will notice is a running theme for everything Skaven produced, this thing is hardly the poster child for reliability. The crank might get stuck, the ammo might jam, it may just fall apart, and of course, it might blow up in the face of the rats wielding it. Warpstone is the most volatile substance in Warhammer, as is fitting for something that's solidified chaos. The rats wielding it run the risk with every shot that the
Hold on, give me 1 second. Okay,
thing's gonna
sorry.
blow up in their faces. That being said, the Skaven who use this thing are no doubt happier than just about anyone else in a Skaven army. The risk of this thing blowing up is far better than the guaranteed death of being the first.
You know, I forgot a lot of the Skaven stuff is not like perfect, and it does explode a lot. So I'm like reading the comments like, no, cubes don't explode. I'm like, dang it, you're right. You're so right, I forgot. A lot of the stuff they create just doesn't work.
First clan rat to engage the enemy in melee, and at least in 4th edition AOS, each gun fires 3d6 shots at the enemy. That means you can hang tight in the back line and fire away. It is a shame that you can't overcharge them anymore, though. That was a fun mechanic that gave the Skaven more flavor, which is presumably why it got cut. Anyone who complains about the issue of that being unbalanced can go to hell. No one plays Skaven for their competitive status.
They don't play Skaven for the competitive status? Why not? That's crazy. The Skaven content, the 40 karat Eldar, not the fantasy ones. I mean, oh yeah, because they said it's not interdimensional. What was the word that they use? Like it's across multiverses. Yeah.
play Skaven
Which makes it more impressive. Not gonna lie.
because funny rat guys. There are 2 main other variants of the Rattling gun, which is pattern repeated for another weapon we'll be talking about. The first is the Rattling Warp Blaster. It's a Rattling gun on a little wheeled platform pushed around by other Skaven while one of them sits on a chair and shoots.
Okay, not gonna lie, this is kind of funny. You know what's better than a Rattling gun? A giant Rattling gun where people have to wheel you around. Yes. Excellent.
This thing, thankfully, does still have the more Warpstone bullets ability that normal guns have had taken away from them, which means you can double your shots if you don't mind the possibility you'll blow up. You should be doing this at every possibility, because even if it blows up, you both doubled your firepower and had a fun time doing it. The final variant comes to us from Vermintide, where a single Storm Vermin can hold 1 rather than requiring 2 rats to carry it. It does far less damage than a normal Rattling gun, but as a trade-off, only 1 rat needs to hold it. That rat is more mobile, and it fires far faster. Using one of these well in versus mode can either pin an enemy team down while someone else moves into position, or if you line your shots up right, you can mulch through their health after enough time. Rattling guns are overall probably the Skaven weapon that puts the user at the least amount of risk, and they're probably, again, the happiest weapons team around. Out of all the ways a Rattling gun can break, I'd wager they have the least destructive potential ways to do so. A jammed gun doesn't always just explode in your hands. A jammed flamethrower is perhaps worse, given Skaven engineering. Speaking of flamethrowers, though, warp fire throwers.
Elf? Wait, they have Flammenwerfers? Oh my god. I'm here to win. I'm here to send a message. It's about sending a signal. No, there's a quote for that. It's about sending a message. Yeah. Bigger, larger, better, superior. Yes. I like how it's like, oh, well, there's ones that need multiple Skaven, and then there's ones that just need, you know, normal ones. Yeah, the Ratten Flammenwerfers. I love it. I'm excited. This one's my favorite so far. Love a good Flammenwerfer, you know what I mean?
These are one of several weapons that came about because the Skaven really despise having to deal with dwarfs. A dwarf has thick armor at even the lowest of ranks, and certain units like Ironbreakers are wearing Gromrel armor, which can deflect a clan rat's rusty sword he found in the garbage with ease. But as it turns out, warp fuel can melt dwarf beams with incredible ease, and even if it doesn't, a warp fire...
What did he just say? Was that what I thought it was? That was like a tee-hee ha-ha, like what I thought it was what he just said. Dang.
Thrower can cook an entire line of dwarf infantry inside their armor. Warp fire throwers are often used to break up defensive positioning, similar to stories of US Marines clearing out Japanese bunkers with them during the Second World War. Unlike real-life flamethrowers, however, warp fire throwers operate on Call of Duty logic. To be clear, I am no weapons expert, but as I understand it, shooting a flamethrower is like shooting a car's gas tank. Real life isn't Hollywood, so it probably isn't going to explode. Especially with a flamethrower, there's a process that needs to happen before you can shoot fire at someone.
Shouldn't explode, but knowing the Skaven, it might explode. Oh yes, he did. Did he stutter? That threw me so off.
But warp fire throwers are made by the race with very lax health and safety protocols and powered by the ever-present warpstone. If an Imperial rifleman gets a lucky shot off, he can start a chain reaction across a unit of these things that leaves them all dead. Nevertheless, this is once again seen as a better option than being a melee clan rat, because at least you're distance a bit away from the enemy, burning them alive. They fail all the time and kill their operators as often as the enemy they kill, but they're so effective when they work that no one's gonna care about that. Let loose with the fires of hell and pray to the horned rat he isn't gonna find you exploding funnier than the enemy being lit on fire. As with the rattling...
Horned rat has a sense of humor, doesn't he? Doesn't he? Exploding is a feature, not a bug. Oh yeah, no, they definitely make the weapons because like there's, you know what, they just really like the gotcha chances that like, oh, it could explode or I could defeat all my enemies, you know. So like they're just gotcha players is what it is. To be fair, the Skaven weapons were just waiting to explode anyway. They were like, oh, we're just gonna take that chance. Convince me what's a pinto? Lax implies that any health and safety standards exist at all. This is clearly false for Skaven society. They're not messing around. They know what they're doing. They're literally... The horse rat is... He sure sounds like he's like, these are my people. Yeah, but if they fade away and explode, it's kind of funny. Could be funnier than the enemies, you know? Haha, quirky. Just my own people. It's fine.
Gun, there's also a one-handed variant in Vermintide, and in another similar vein, you can't overcharge it at the risk of blowing yourself up in Age of Sigmar anymore because Skaven players are oppressed. This thing in Vermintide Versus can also be a brutal killing machine, although I have to say I much prefer the Rattling Gun. The Warp Fire Thrower does more damage and can hit the entire enemy team if they're grouped up, but you have to get closer to the enemy to do that. I'm playing a Skaven, man, I don't want to do that. I want the other assholes on my team to be up close and...
This is literally the meme I think of when I think of the Skaven, to be honest. Like, okay, I invented this thing, and, you know, is this literally the motto of the Horned Rat? Is this what it is? Like, is this his motto? He's like, yeah, some of you may die. It's a sacrifice I'm willing to make. God, I use this quote all the time for such silly things. It just works.
Personal. All of these weapons so far have one big problem though, and it's that they're bulky and obvious weapons that can be dealt with by taking cover. There's no disguising a Rattling gun. It's pretty obviously a gun, even if the specifics of it might be beyond the infantryman looking at the thing. Get behind a big enough dirt mound when it fires and you're good. Even a warp fire thrower can conceivably be blocked with strong enough materials. If you're behind a metal wall and some asshole fires a flamethrower at you, you're probably fine as long as you aren't in some small metal cube that'll cook you alive. Don't take cover inside the brass bowl and you're good. But you know what everyone needs to do no matter who they are or where they are? Breathe. Enter the...
Yeah, it's kind of important. Breathing's important a little bit. Pinto was a car brand notorious for design flaw that made them easily catch fire if hit from behind. Oh, so it's just the Skaven car. Okay. All right, that makes a lot of sense now. When you guys said Pinto, I was like, Pinto beans? Like, it's the only Pinto I know. Streamers still selfless. No, I wouldn't say that quote. I do it based on, like, you know, like Horned Rat thing that, you know, other people would say. I would never sacrifice my little cultists or my little cotlets. I would never. I make sure the little cultists are fed, okay? All right? It's a little different. The rotten wagon.
Second weapon, great for murdering dwarfs in particular, the poison globe. It's honestly the least complicated invention on this list. It's just a glass ball filled with poison gas. The Skaven who throw it at the enemy wear gas masks and protective clothing, but the poison can still kill them. And yes, this thing is normally thrown. Isn't that the best kind of chemical weapon? The kind where you just...
Yeah, I love just throwing poisonous orbs. Yeah, that's, I mean, it's pretty inventive. When Kat says it's ironic, yeah, because I am a good cult leader. It's different. I mean, it's not a cult, but like, you know what I mean? Tell that to Rom. Rom is stinky and doesn't know. It's fine. Yeet.
Huck it and hope the wind isn't blowing in your direction? Because as you could expect, aside from the glass ball this thing is contained in being as fragile as, well, glass, this weapon can be defeated by a strong gust of wind.
That's kind of funny. I wouldn't even think of that. Yeah, you know, but if the wind goes in the wrong direction, you're just, well, it's like 07 to yourself.
That being said, and while the clothing of a globadier is very obvious and recognizable, there's only so much that can be done if conditions favor the rat. You need to breathe. The poison globe turns the air to poison. Maybe
You jest, but the GHR absolutely does have a sense of humor. His favorite Gray Seer is his fave exclusively because GHR finds his antics hilarious. Yeah, they said that before, that like the Great Horned Rat was like, yeah, they just gotta see if the Skaven deleting themselves is funnier than, you know, them deleting the enemy Slamal. So thank you for the super chat, Warboss. Thank you.
you think you can hold your breath, but if you're in active combat, you're probably going to be huffing and puffing from the exertion. And if you think being in close quarters combat with the other Skaven means they aren't going to throw the globes at you anyway, you're a damn fool. And if you're in an enclosed building, just forget about it. In one of the Gotrek and Felix books, a dwarf is in an outpost and hesitates to call the alarm because he knows it'll be certain death from the Skaven all around him. He does so anyway because he's a true Dowie, and then his little cutscene ends with poison filling the room, if I remember correctly. It's warpstone-based poison too, because of course it is, so even if you somehow...
Of course it's warpstone-based poison. Are we shocked? Are any of us shocked? No. It's part of an early Grotech and Felix books where they use these in a sewer, it gets nasty. Oh, that seems really smart. Yeah, use it in a closed space. Skaven was like, gigabrain.
survive, get ready to mutate a little bit, buddy. Since the crucial flaw of this weapon is that the range is however far some malnourished rat can throw it, the Skaven decided to come up with a way to improve upon the design. Their solution was the Poison Wind Mortar. While this is another weapons team and therefore requires two Skaven to wield effectively, this is made up for with a far greater range and payload. A mortar can fire farther, and you can jam as many globes down the barrel as fit in it. Now, naturally, this introduces the possibility of a whole lot more mechanical issues, as you would expect of firing a glass orb out of a rusty tube.
Yeah, you know, throwing one orb, the wind can get you, but like throwing multiple orbs from a tube that's probably not perfectly built, you know, it's fine. It's just totally fine. Totally fine. With the Skaven, everything is a warpstone. Yeah, they really like them. I think, I'm starting to think they really like the warpstones. Not sure why, but I think they really like them.
While they do need to get reasonably close and the globes are fragile, as long as the Skaven globadier holding one of the globes has steady hands, it ain't that bad. The mortar, meanwhile, might blow up, or the glass might shatter in the tube, and now the rats loading it are gonna suffocate because Skaven protective equipment is shit. Or it'll totally miss because it's held together with hopes and dreams, and instead fire...
It's held together with hopes and dreams. That's so sad. Oh my god. The poor Skaven.
Directly into the mass of clan rats in front of the weapon team. Admittedly, not a single Skaven other than the clan rats will actually care, but it's generally preferred if your weapons hit the enemy and your fellow rats at the same time. It's by no means the most complicated of weapons around, but as I said, it's one of those things that at least in lore is pretty difficult to survive a hit from.
So wait, these masks that they're wearing on their face don't protect them at all? Because they said their armor's kind of garbage, and like looking at it from these pictures, yeah, it just kind of looks like cloth. But do these gas mask looking things not protect them from like the warpstone, or they just haven't quite figured that out yet? Probably not. Okay, because I was like, oh, they're wearing like a gas mask. It'd kind of be cool, but then it's like, it's a gas mask, but it's made by Skaven, so Lamau gets screwed. Okay, you know what? Fair. That's a fair point. It sort of helps. Yeah, if you're lucky. Okay, so it's kind of just the gotcha one in general. What? Reasonably certain that the hazmat gear they hand out to the Poison Wind crews is literally just for show. It's just to make them think they're protected so they'll agree to it. That's so bad. That's so bad. Like, it just kind of looks cool. It'll definitely protect us, right? And it's just like a small, thin piece of cloth covering their mouths and nose. So thank you for the super chat, Warpus. Oh my god. And typical Skaven behavior. I should have realized that. I just should have clicked. I don't know why. They were just real gotcha addicts. They're like, it could work. But you know, it's just my life on the line. It's fine. 1% protection is better than 0%, so allowed to call up protective gear. Okay, you're not wrong. You're not wrong, Coffee. Thank you for the super chat. Yeah, just a little, it's kind of protective, you know. I mean, yeah, it's better than nothing. That's fair. It just kind of thinks it's like, well, looks cool, but might not be able to. Might not be able to help.
The winds favor you, or if you have a celestial wizard to make the winds favor you, you're golden. If they don't favor you and there's no lore of heaven's mage around to lend a hand, you're dead. Moving on from projectile gas, we have projectile vomit. The plague claw catapult.
Projectile gas, projectile vomit. Okay, continue.
Catapult is the finest of Clan Pestilence engineering, which means it's a catapult made of rotten wood that fires what looks like a puddle of congealed vomit at the enemy. Supposedly it also flings warpstone, but looking at the model, this is just vomit.
Oh, so it's literal vomit. Oh. I thought it was like a play on words, like, yeah, they literally fling vomit from a rotted wood catapult. Oh. Okay, alright.
When it hits, it'll crush whoever the projectile lands on and infect the rest of the unit with all sorts of nasty diseases, because anything that comes from Clan Pestilence is going to weaponize the bubonic plague, like the Mongols catapulting dead bodies over the walls of cities.
BB the catapult. Yeah, I was just thinking, like, where do they get this vomit? Do they vomit on command? Like, all right, Skaven, gather around into like the thing. Is that what they do? And they're like, yeah, let's just fling this vomit at the enemy. And because we're using rotted wood, also they really just like their gotcha chances. This is locally sourced vomit. Yeah, I was gonna say, fire a little nurgle surprise. This is this is something. All right, the vomit accelerates. Maybe they have it on hand. Like, oh, whenever someone's sick, they just collect the vomit. That checks out. Okay, that checks out.
They didn't like. There really isn't much to say about it, but I can't not mention it. It's great fun to use in Total War and Tabletop, because flinging a diarrhea and vomit jungle juice bomb.
Oh, diarrhea too. Okay, they definitely have. Is there baby Skaven? There's gotta be baby Skavens. They just collect them. Okay, alright, checks out.
Vomit your enemy is the most horrid kind of satisfying. From the same modeling kit that makes this thing, you can also make the Warp Lightning Cannon. Clan Scryer is a very advanced group of beings, horribly evil or not, and as such they can make some dreadfully terrifying things when they put their mind to it. This is one such thing, because in the setting where the average tech level ranges from medieval times to slightly beyond the Renaissance, this thing is an energy beam cannon. Firing a concentrated beam of warp lightning into the foe, this thing will obliterate most everything that it touches.
Okay, pause. Will obliterate most things that it touches, assuming it works. But yeah, here we go.
In spite
You're a baby Skaven. Also, I heard female Skaven. Don't look it up. So I'm terrified and I won't.
of best being used against large creatures in Total War, on the tabletop and AOS, this thing is pretty good against everything. 2d6 auto-wounding on hit attacks can ruin the day of a whole lot of things, and you get a guaranteed extra attack if you babysit it with a Scryer hero. Doing so, granted, means it might blow up, but once again, we are Skaven players here. Take your sensitive ass back to the cities of Sigmar if a little...
So, not that I'd play the tabletop, but, like, assuming you would, right? Do you roll, like, dice for it, too? And it's like, oh, well, if you get, like, below a 5, the thing just explodes. Is it kind of like D&D in that way, or is it just like a set thing? Because I don't understand any of this. Attack dice 6, attack 2 dice 6. It's dice based, yeah. Okay, so if you roll below a certain number, it just explodes. So Skaven really are just good time. Okay, all right. Because I'm trying to look on this and I'm reading it. I'm not absorbing it, but I'm reading it. Basically, if you overcharge, if you roll a 1, it explodes. Oh, okay. And if you roll like a nat 20, then you're like just destroying everybody. You roll dice and it might blow up. Oh, that's great. That's phenomenal. I love that. Oh yeah, hit is a 4+, so attack. Do you roll a six-sided die? 2d6. I'm trying to figure it out. I don't understand. I know there's up to 20-sided die. Warhammer's thing called Deadly Demise with Tyranids. If your unit dies, it can die and blow up on D6 or D3, blowing up anywhere within 6 inches. Oh, that's fun. You roll a D6, not D20s. Oh, so it's 6-sided. 6-sided, but a lot of them. Oh, okay, so you roll multiple. Oh, okay, that's what it means. Okay, look, I'm learning. I'm learning. Yeah, literally just rat, bomb, explode. Roll a 6-sided and on 4 or more it hits. Okay. 2d6 determines how many shots you get. So it's two dice for this one. 2 6-sided die. Anything you roll on a 4+ hits. I mean, you got a 4+. I mean, all right. Pick this up really fast. Yeah, I'm learning. Yeah. Yeah, I know I have approximate knowledge of various things.
Tomfoolery is too much for you. If you think a laser cannon seems excessive, then consider that during the end times, Claw built one large enough to destroy the moon Morslieb. Just shattered it like glass.
But the moon's made of cheese. Why would they destroy it? That's messed up. Honestly, they have bigger priorities.
God bless that insane rat scientist. And the final scryer piece of true overkill we have is the Doomsphere. It's a nuclear bomb, that's it. It's powered by warpstone, it's about as stable as a Skaven nuke sounds like it'd be, but it is just a nuclear bomb. One was planted under Altdorf, but it was disarmed, and in Total War you can drop them on people at your leisure if you choose Claw as your starting legendary lord. Remember, the Skaven exist in a fantasy setting. To round us off, here's a bit of a lightning round. A Warplock Jizail's a sniper rifle, that's all you really need to know. A Warpvolt Scourger is similar to a Warp Lightning Cannon, but leans more into the lightning than the energy blast side of things. And the Warp Grinder is a big drill of weapon.
The moon was actually made of warpstone. They did so the warpstone would rain down on the planet. That's crazy work.
Team of rats can use. On the downside, you have to get into melee range with it. On the upside, I've seen Gurren Lagann. God only knows what can happen if the Skaven discover how to manifest spiral energy.
Gurren Lagann mentioned? Okay, I haven't watched a lot of it, but okay, Pog. Spiral, okay. So they're just, okay, alright. Creatures. Okay. More stuff. Not actual weapons, but I'm assuming they also created these creatures. Lamau.
But though Clan Scryer makes all sorts of wonderful technology, they're not the only ones making weapons. They're just the ones that make weapons that aren't alive. Clan Mulder has quite the impressive display of horrific things to deploy to the battlefield as well, because they are the biological division of Skaven society. What happens when you rip a person apart piece by piece? What happens when you replace the parts you ripped off with parts you ripped off an ogre?
Yeah, that sounds like the Skaven, Lamau.
What happens when you add warpstone to the resulting abomination? All of these questions and more Clan Mulder seek to answer, so they can find the perfect specimen to throw at people who bother them. One small thing they make use of is giant rats. Small on the scale of the atrocities committed here, of course. These things are about the size of large dogs. Their purpose is therefore largely the same as war dogs. They can be used to sniff out the enemy or jump on top of them and start biting. The Skaven can also deploy rat swarms, which are a lot less impressive individually, but when 200 rats swarm you and start nibbling on your bits, the terror will strike regardless. These things are absolutely kept in horrid conditions to make them extra vicious when it's time for battle, because even when biological augmentations aren't strictly speaking involved, these things are still horrid. There's also the wolf rat variant, which is a cross between a rat and a wolf, at least in appearance. Same general purpose as a war dog, though. From there, if you get a big enough rat, you get a brood horror. If a giant rat being experimented on mutates enough and eats the rest of its litter, you get one that's the size of a truck that Clan
Yeah, average New York City rat. This is 100% what they look like. Trust.
Mulder likes to use as a mount. The most famous thing they've made is easily the Rat Ogre, or as I blurt out when I'm getting jumped by one in Vermintide, the Roger. A Roger is not necessarily made by crossing an ogre with a Skaven,
The Roger. Banger name. Okay, continue.
although that has certainly happened. Covered in stitches and bulging with muscle, they look like if Frankenstein had a theming of rats. Unrelated, but piss off, person who's about to comment about how it's Frankenstein's monster. Victor Frankenstein made the monster, and you take your parent's last name. The monster only having the one parent, his name is therefore Frankenstein. With the strength of an ogre and rage instead of actual thought, these things are a bitch and a half to contain and transport, and even more of a bitch to fight. They're one of, if not the single most exported creation Clan Mulder has to offer, because everyone wants to throw these things at their enemies. Sometimes an enemy.
I mean, to be fair, if I had one of those, I would also want to throw it at my enemies because I'd be like, haha, good luck. And I'm going to run away. We can't control them either, Lamau.
Enterprising Master Molder will graft weapons and armor to the thing, and no, I don't mean suit them up, I mean bolt metal plates to them, and if they're feeling real spicy, they can make a Bonebreaker Rat Ogre. These things are often used as mounts by warlords, at least in Total War, and they're easily able to crush through entire formations of units on their own. Moving up the Roger hierarchy, we have the mighty Storm Fiend. It's not always that the Skaven fight each other. They do sometimes cooperate, even if they're cooperating with the intent of either using the end product against one another or trying to take the credit for the group project all to themselves. In one such case, Clan Scryer and Mulder looked at a rat ogre one day and thought, what if it had a gun? And that...
Yeah, this is great, but what if it had a gun? Banger idea.
Is how we got Storm Fiends. Initial testing was a bit of a swing and a miss because while rat ogres certainly don't lack for strength, they aren't the most intelligent of creatures. They're somewhere between a brick being thrown through your window and a man tweaking out on meth on the IQ scale. Attempts to make the rat ogre itself smarter, however, failed on just about every front. It either didn't work or killed the creature, which is just a worse way of not working because now you only have a big corpse left for your efforts. Eventually, Throt the Unclean got things to a point where the beast did become smarter, but it also became less violent, which is also a complete failure. So, going back to the drawing board,
They became less violent. Dang, alright.
Throt decided to graft Molder Packmasters to the nervous system of the Proto-Storm Fiends. This did allow the creature to control weapons and gain intelligence, since they were in a really messed up way being puppeted by the Packmaster, but the Packmasters were about as happy as you'd expect with this arrangement and tended to make their grievances known rather violently. Frustrated but refusing to give up, Throt decided that if he couldn't make the rat ogre smarter, and grafting someone onto it usually resulted in an impromptu fistfight with them, he decided to...
Yeah, less violent, what a failure. The Skaven that, like, figured that out was like, they're probably like, I'm the worst Skaven ever known to man. This is so sad. Alexa, play Despacito.
Just grow his own Skaven. Somehow creating his own breed of Skaven that were semi-docile with massive brains, he fused them with the rat ogres he had and awaited the results. And it worked perfectly. The rat ogre, though still intensely violent, could be briefly controlled through the mini-rat on its back. When Throt had to figure out what weapons to give it to make it noticeably more deadly, Ikit came around and proposed they work together. Initially, neither side were happy with the agreement, and Ikit only proposed it because he needed to make something good to appease his superior. But they were surprisingly great partners, as Throt and Ikit's genius in their respective fields, as well as surprising insight into each other's, saw the now completed Storm Fiends armed with the finest weaponry Clan Scryer had to offer. On the tabletop, they can be armed with poison globe launchers, warp fire throwers, and rattling guns, as well as some melee options, but in lore, anything is fair game. Grab whatever's lying around and get creative. Morality went out the window the moment we started talking about the Skaven. Who gives a shit?
True. Morality was never a thing. You can't have morality and Skaven in the same sentence. I'm gonna be real.
Storm Fiends sold so quickly that Scryer and Mulder couldn't keep up with their orders no matter how quickly they tried or overcharged their buyers. The two clans made a lot of money, and the Storm Fiend was introduced into the Skaven armies to wreak havoc on both the nations of the world and your gormless ass when you get jumped by one Invermintide. And the final tier of Rat Ogre is a unique one. Grey Seer Thanquol is no mere rat. He is the greatest Skaven to ever live.
Okay, kind of sick looking. Okay. Greatest, so is there only one of a kind then? Less descendants of Skaven have literally no morality. Real. Less violent, murderous, unacceptable, back to the drawing board. Yes, they had to. They were like, oh, this is a complete failure. We gotta run it back.
He, of course, requires only the greatest of Rat Ogre to ever live for his own personal mount. Initially, these were largely Clan Mulder creations, but after the introduction of the Storm Fiend, we see the Bone Ripper he now rides into battle to this day.
What the? That's sick. He already looks super cool with the horns, and then he's gonna ride one of the... Okay. Alright. Yeah, no, I wouldn't want to mess with this guy.
A towering monster with 4 arms and weapons on each to match its size, there's almost nothing that can defeat this thing, in theory. In practice, a Bone Ripper's life expectancy can be measured in hours. Gotrek and Felix have a habit of butchering them whenever Thanquol brings one along, and if I'm remembering correctly, Thanquol ended up eating at least one of them. But in spite of this, a Bone Ripper is to Rat Ogres and Storm Fiends what the Ultramarines are to Space Marines, and should be respected and feared as the greatest threat of all on the battlefield.
Fair.
Right until the 4-foot-tall death-bound hurricane that is Gotrek Garrison rolls up. Then you can safely assume it's going to die quickly. There are a couple of other creations of Clan Mulder as well. A Chimerat is a horrid fusion.
What the ham? That thing looks cursed. I don't like this one. Okay.
Of a Hydra and Rat, for instance. There's also the Brood Terror from Age of Sigmar, and to be honest with you, I have no idea what I'm looking at here. It's big, it has a gun,
Okay, I take it back. This is a little bit more... Now they're both cursed. They're both levels of curse I didn't think I could think of. How do people think of this stuff? From what I remember, hearing, though the Unclean is pretty strong, could take on Rat Ogres, but what happens when you juice up on Warpstone? I mean, the Warpstone's Just trying to get ahead in life. Red Hydras. Oh my god. The Red Hydra was just a Total War mod. Nope. Psych. Apparently it's real. I think. Maybe. It sounded like he said it's real.
Like 85% sure it's bipedal, and if I saw it lumbering at me, I'd shit myself.
Fair.
But nothing, perhaps not even the long and storied Bone Ripper bloodline, can hold a candle to their ultimate creation, the Hell Pit Abomination.
What the? It's like all of the really terrifying things combined. How is this thing? Okay. Alright.
See, Clan Molder is based out of the city of Hellpit that borders the Chaos Wastes. Custom crafted initially from giant burrowing worms, but also quite frequently from whatever lumps of flesh a Master Molder can get his hands on, these things are a sight to behold in the worst way possible. If you watch them move in Total War, you can see them struggling to just be alive, and once they get into combat, they don't so much as fight as flail all over the place and crush whatever happens to
Abomination is very much on brand. Yeah, I couldn't even think of combining things to make it look like this. I'm staring at it and I'm like trying to piece together everything. Think can wrestle dragons? I would not be shocked.
Be in the way. They've got multiple heads, they're too disgusting and big to move on their own power, so they usually have wheels and engines grafted onto them, and
so they can't even move properly, so they need wheels. Alright.
the warpstone and chemicals pumped into them make them constantly mutate even mid-fight. They also heal like trolls, and if you kill one, there's so much crap going on with them that on the tabletop there's a 1 in 6 chance that it'll just keep going. The rule is called too horrible to
Oh, okay, hold on. Too horrible. Oh, he's gonna read it in a second. Okay, hold on.
die, which is probably the most fitting name in all of Warhammer history. There's also
No, I want to go back. As it twitches in its shuddering death throes, there's a chance that either the abomination's unholy metabolism will restart one of its many foul hearts, or its carcass will disgorge the revolting tide of parasitic rats that has been gnawing upon its innards. Okay. Okay, so if you roll a 1, dead. Okay, units destroyed. 2 to 4, the rats emerge. Roll a d3 for each enemy unit in combat with this unit. On a 2+, inflict the amount of mortal damage on that unit equal to the roll, and then this unit is destroyed. Okay, so you just have to roll a 2. It's okay. 5 to 6, it's alive. This unit is not destroyed, and any remaining damage points inflicted on have no effect. Then heal this unit. What? Huh? It's like they slapped the leftover body parts together and threw it at the enemies. This is literally what it is. It's like, oh, what should we make? What should we make today, guys? I don't know. Let's throw random darts at just things that we have and just put it all together. This is crazy. Chance when it dies, a swarm of rats pop out. Yeah, that's cool. That's cool. Yeah, okay. So you killed it? No, you didn't. It's like, haha, psych. This thing is kind of terrifying. I mean, it's a Gamba, of course, but like that's all right. Yeah, we've got like, it's like when you have leftovers, right? Like leftover things in the fridge, and you're like, we'll just put it all together and call it dinner. That's kind of what they did. They're like, we have some random parts. Let's just. It's like when you take like different colors of Play-Doh, and you're like, I'm gonna make something nice, and then you mush it all together, and it just turns to like a brown Play-Doh. This is what it is. The rat pinata. Boss phase 2, 100%. Shame the model so old, could use an update. Maybe, you know, just write into the company. Excuse me. Can we have this updated, please? Thank you. Crush warpstone to a pattern sword. They come up with this monstrosity. If that's not what they did, I would honestly be shocked. Would honestly be shocked.
Too horrible to die, which is probably the most fitting name in all of Warhammer history. There's also the Avalanche of Flesh rule, which is just horrible mental imagery. Hellpit abominations as models are rather tragically small nowadays compared to how the game has progressed. If there's anything in the Skaven range that still drastically needs an update, it's these bad boys. These things in Total War can fistfight dragons. They should be at least the
They can fight dragons!
size of an Imperial Knight, in my opinion. Maybe they can make 2 versions. Keep the present one as a lesser version, and the new and improved model can be the Hellpit Atrocity or something.
Okay, let him cook. See? Thinking the same thing we were. Let him cook.
Something like that.
Vehicles.
I hope you don't think I've forgotten about the rat cars. The Skaven have 3 vehicles that'll
Wait, seriously, they have cars? Okay.
We'll be mentioning today, 2 of which are tabletop options, and the 3rd of which is just really funny. The first is the Doomflayer. This is a circular little ball of knives and hatred ridden by a single Skaven designed to crash.
Sounds like me. Circular ball of hatred. Up to the abomination. Yes, we need the Skaven. Look how many people want the Skaven thing. The little monstrosity. Come on, quirky.
Through dwarf lines. The Skaven, if you couldn't tell, really don't like the dwarfs, and given that they both live
They don't like the dwarfs? Shocker.
underground, it only makes sense a large amount of their resources would be devoted to dealing with the beard things. The blades in the middle constantly spin with the wheel, and they're overall fantastic at cutting through even heavier infantry. Not as much as yet another of Ictaclaw's inventions, though, the almighty Doom Wheel. Imagine a hamster wheel the size of...
Yeah, I was gonna say, it's literally like when you put the hamsters in, like, that's just that, like, plastic ball, except I guess the wheel makes more sense.
...of a moving truck crossed with that thing General Grievous drove in Revenge of the Sith. This thing is going to run you down, because let's be honest with what we're looking at here and admit that the basic principle of this thing is just vehicular homicide. Powered by a treadmill of either rats or Skaven slaves, this also empowers a warpstone battery that can shoot out bolts of lightning at the enemy.
It uses warp stones? Oh my gosh.
As is fitting for such an abomination, this thing is less piloted and more aimed roughly forward. These things can get stuck in the mud, spin in circles, or just fall apart, leaving the rat piloting it zooming forward at 60 miles an hour like a Looney Tunes character falling off a cliff. Sometimes they just stop because the rats and or slaves running to power it get tired, and
they just get tired. Yeah, no, a Skaven device that's not, 100% perfect couldn't be a Skaven device, couldn't be.
Once they stop, they're not starting again, so if the enemy has been thoroughly routed, that crew is getting executed. None of this matters. They do not exist for long-term engagements. They do not exist with the rider's safety in mind. They exist to go forward, rip apart an enemy line, and then if they're lucky, fire a laser into it for good measure. And the mighty Doom Wheel is unmatched in this field as...
Sorry, Reptigai, Nightbot got you. Sorry.
A war machine. And our last creation, the pinnacle of Skaven technology, is a piloted artificial comet. The entire Vortex campaign from Total Warhammer 2, where the twin-tailed comet shone in the sky and all the factions raced to take control of the Vortex and Ulthuan because of it. Yeah, it was just a rat they flew into space to create a fake comet. They tricked everyone from the elves to the lizardmen with Sputnik from Wish. God, I love these fucking rats. And those are the main highlights of the Skaven's creations. And remember, folks, just because it's a...
Okay, I'm gonna let him finish because there's a little bit after, but like, dang, okay. So they have... I thought they'd have a lot more, but I guess those are just the main ones, I'm assuming. That's what they mostly use, and that's what kind of worked for the Skaven.
Live doesn't mean it isn't a weapon. Thank you as always to my wonderful channel members. You are the warpstone to my Skaven creation, the beating malicious heart of this incompetent malicious channel. If you'd like to support the channel, feel free to subscribe or become a member.
Subscribe.
Either way, thank you for watching and take care out there.
You mentioned the screaming bells? You mean the balls? I mean, I'm sure there's other ones because you can't just, get everything done in time. Okay, come on. Tetra got one of the Doom Wheels gifted on Thrones. You can see one close up. Oh my god, phenomenal.
Skaven, it's really impressive how they're basically if you took Starscream and Shockwave and merged them into one ratty being. No morals, constant hunger for power leading them to betray their superiors, mad science. It really is something special to behold.
That is pretty awesome, yeah. That's pretty poggers. Well, we learned something. We learned a lot today, chat. We learned a lot. That was quirky. That was a little quirky. All right. Which is your favorite Skaven weapon? Some of the few vehicles they have that can't be weaponized? Aw, nuts. Aw, nuts. Okay, wait. Can I full screen this? Oh, Pog! There actually is a full screen for this. All right, let's go. So that was interesting. I have some more Parz that we're gonna watch. Just a tee-hee ha-ha funny little compilation. Let me get it up on the screen. That's probably smart first, right? Boop. Okay, so we're gonna watch some more Parz again. And, my favorite is just starting with spiders. Because, oh boy, it's not like I have arachnophobia. It's fine. It's fine. I just gotta picture them as little Minecraft spiders because then it's not as serious. It's not as serious. Spooters! Yippee. Yippee. I love spiders.
Spiders are scary.
Spiders. Sorry.
But hey, at least they can't get you in the water, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that nightmare is a fishing spider. Native to the land down under, because of course it fucking is. And you may be wondering why the fuck this thing is pulling a Jesus. Well, you see, fishing spiders have no webs. Which means they can't just wait for a fly to clothesline
Webless behavior, sorry.
itself when they're hungry. No, when they want to feed, they gotta hop in the ute, drive down to the waterfront, and get ready to do some serious fishing. Now, last I checked, spiders can't just go down to BCF and buy a fishing rod. No, these little guys need to get hands-on. Or, should I say feet? Because they start their hunt by resting their forelegs on the water's surface. These legs are covered in incredibly sensitive hairs, which detect tiny little ripples and vibrations from the water, basically giving them their prey's fucking IP address.
Okay, sorry to pause like mid video. I thought they were gonna say the spiders likes feet, like other species feet, and I was like, ain't no way they like the guipas. But okay, sensing the water makes more sense. Okay, my bad.
Not only finding their location, but also doxing what fucking species it is. Uncooked fish finger located, all that's left to do is, go out and grab him. But, how? Well, no, he's not wearing 4 pairs of Frostwalker boots.
Sorry. What the heck? I'm sorry. You're spider degens. Okay, sorry.
Those long legs are also coated in hydrophobic hair. This allows them to put their weight on the water without breaking the surface tension. This means that when they see their prey, they can simply Jesus towards it at Mach 5 and fucking grab it. Fighting it with venomous fangs that inject, you guessed it,
Say the line, Bart.
Oh no.
neurotoxin.
I knew it.
And once it's paralyzed, they drag it back to the shore and have a feed. Ah, wait, this one's too small, we gotta throw him back.
Be free.
Spiders.
Well, that's cool. Nowhere safe. Yeah, well, at least we're not like a fish, because I would assume they wouldn't attack people's feet, right? Right? Fishing spiders are part of the nursery web spider family, which include wolf spiders. This is pretty much an Australian water wolf spider. I did kind of get those vibes, I'm not gonna lie, because it was a giant spider. Okay, well, that's cool. The next one surely won't be more spiders, right?
This plant explodes.
Is it made from the Skaven? Okay, sorry, continue.
Why? Well, you see, this is a squirting cucumber. Stop giggling. I see you laughing. Stop it. This is serious. These things are found worldwide, and to understand where this thing got its name, you need to understand how most plants spread their seeds. You see, most of the time, plants store their seeds in their fruit. Birds then swoop down, grab their food at the drive-thru, eat it, and fuck off.
Yeah.
They then digest the flesh of the fruit, but shit out the seeds. Seeds hit the ground, get fertilized, and the cycle begins anew. But the squirter is poisonous.
Oh.
Every single part of the plant is toxic, so if Tweety here eats it, he's gonna become a KFC family bucket. So if that's the case, how does it spread its seed? Well, same way you do. You see, the cuke stores its seeds in the fruits as well, but the fruits are made up of very soft cells, and as they grow, they slowly fill with moisture. This moisture causes them to swell and inflate, increasing pressure on the inside of the fruit. That pressure builds.
Oh.
The fruit stretches until finally all that pressure is too much for the stem to bear, and it pops out like the pin in a grenade. And with that opening, all those seeds and all that pressure finally has somewhere to go. So,
That sounds it sounds great.
in order to spread its seed far and wide, it busts. This
I'm sorry, the sound effects more parts. What? Just like, so then okay. Oh no, he busted. Yeah, what are these sussy plans? Oh, but like, does it grow back, or like is it just kind of like one and done after this? Sound effects are great. It caught me off guard. I tried not to laugh during them, but like, okay, all right. The sussy plants. I'm gonna refer to them as the sussy plants now. Okay, the exploding sussy plants.
This is one of the oldest
It's Pikachu.
creatures on the planet.
Who's that Pokemon?
We got a boomer!
Introducing the horseshoe crab. Found under the sea in the Atlantic, Indian, and Pacific Oceans. And when I said old, I didn't mean individually. These little guys disconnect from
Put a sound warning or something. I was watching the bus and it looked at me. Oh my god, I'm sorry, Edom. I didn't know.
the server at around age 40. And as far as their actual lives go, they're kind of boring. They're bottom feeders with zero offensive capability, and the only reason they have a tail is that without it, they would die if you flipped them onto their backs.
Oh.
No, when I say old, I mean as a species. Because these things are walking fossils that have been running the exact same basic ass build, completely unchanged, for millions of years. How many millions? Well, here is a list of events that this little guy's family tree has lived through. The fall of Rome. The evolution of humankind.
Go back, I want to be monkey!
The Ice Age. God tossing a rock at the big-ass lizards.
Lizard.
Hell, this little fucker watched the first fish crawl onto land and was underwater when the first tree spawned. But I think the best way I can put this into perspective is that not unlike the way the Earth orbits the Sun, the Sun orbits the Milky Way. Now, this process takes around 225 million years to complete. The horseshoe crab has done it twice! This is...
Okay, well that was, yeah, I didn't realize they were that old. That's kind of quirky, and it's Kabuto. Yeah, that's literally Kabuto. Literally Kabuto. I should have said that instead of Pikachu, but I did it for the meme. Dang. Ugh.
This frog deliberately breaks its own bones. But why? Well, you see, this is a hair.
Wait, is this the Wolverine-looking frog that we saw before we learned about? Maybe not? Milky Way sweep, that was funny.
Hairy frog, found on the west coast of Africa, and the reason it hits a brutality on itself, ironically enough, is self-defense. You see, these guys are small, coming in at an incredibly respectable 3 to 5
Don't say it. Before any of you say it, don't say it. Don't you say it.
inches, and tipping the scales at only 150 grams, which is a problem, because they also inhabit the ecological equivalent of a fucking FromSoft game. Africa is one of the only places in the world that gives Australia a run for its money, with Mr. Frog here having to avoid birds, snakes, and rats on his walk
Rats!
to work. Now, in order to avoid this scenario, most frogs either run a high-level stealth build, or dress up like a fucking highlighter and cover themselves in everyone's favourite liquid.
Yeah?
But the hairy frog has read one too many X-Men comics. Because this thing actually has another name. The fucking Wolverine frog.
Ain't no way that's actually its name, because that's what I was saying before. Twice the height of Cot. Banned. Literally banned. Messed up. Okay, so it's actually called... Okay, I'm kind of excited now. Let's go. Okay, let him cook.
Dog. Because these little guys have claws, but not traditional claws like a cat's, which are made of keratin and freely extend and retract without an issue. No, instead, the finger bones on a hairy frog's hind legs are held in place by a small bone at the tip of their fingers. And when threatened, they snap the longer bone off the tip and through their fucking skin. And then, new weapon acquired, they employ the London self-defense strategy. This frog deliberately...
I'm sorry. That was just... That was so funny. Knife, yeah. Breaking your bones, kind of metal though. Imagine breaking your bones just to give just a little knife. The hair on the wolverine frog is actually papillae. The males grow to absorb more oxygen in their bodies. They tend to stay in the water more, and the males protect the eggs they develop. Oh, that's cute. You got a license for that knife. Factually accurate simulation. I just think it's so funny. God, more parts never change.
The kraken is a real animal, just not the one you think it is.
Oh.
Who's that Pokemon?
It's Pikachu! Okay, sorry. I did that meme twice. I'm sorry.
You see, when people hear tales of the kraken, they assume that a bunch of sailors in the oldie times got absolutely shit-faced and ran into a giant squid. And to be fair, that's not a terrible assumption. Giant squid are f***ing kaiju-sized, coming in at 12 meters in length and 900 kilos in weight.
Okay, 900 kilos. This is a lot, though. Okay.
So the assumption that they saw that shit and rightly assumed sea monster isn't too far-fetched. However, there is a rather large hole in that giant squid theory. They don't live anywhere near the surface. They live down. Way down.
And down under in Australia? Question mark?
Owning real estate at a depth of 1,000 meters below sea level in the twilight zone. So if these sailors didn't see Squidward's roided out brother, how the f*** do you explain the books of corroborating tales of long, tentacle-like appendages sticking out of the sea? Well, the answer is whales. But where is the tentacle on a whale? Well, you see, during breeding season, blue whales reproduce by conducting a locomotive on female whales. And in order to keep this train running on the tracks, male whales must wait their turn. And while waiting in the lobby, in order to stay prepared, the males tend to raise their gentleman's sausage out of the water and wave it around in the air. And the special sausage...
Why do they have sausage?
...on a blue whale is around 3 meters long and 14 inches thick. So sailors who thought they were seeing a mythical monster from the depths were...
Subnautica mentioned? Sorry, distracted.
more than likely just seeing a pot of whales hitting weapon inspect on their schmeat.
Captain!
Yeah? The kraken...
I'm sorry that image one. Can we just come back to this? Where does the whale get a sausage? Maybe just goes, and gets like a hot dog or something. Yeah, can't say I saw that coming. No, I didn't think that's what the kraken was. No, okay.
This fish will choke you. Just not the way you think. See, this is a hagfish found worldwide under the sea, and this thing has one of the most f***ing disgusting defense mechanisms on the planet. You see, when I say choke, you probably think I mean they loop that pool noodle shaped body around your neck and squeeze.
Yeah.
You are wrong.
Oh.
No, these guys are piss-weak scavengers that average out to about the size of a Subway footlong, and despite having a f***ing face hugger for a mouth, their main defense mechanism is, busting.
Wait, we've seen these things before.
You see, as you can probably tell by looking at them, these bad boys are slimy. Really slimy. And when threatened, they use it as a f***ing weapon. Whenever something tries to eat them, they kick the slime production into overdrive, secreting a protein that instantly converts the surrounding ocean water into thick, sticky sludge.
This makes me want to throw up. Ugh.
in half a second. And I mean, you know, a load like that in half a second, incredibly impressive. Nothing to be embarrassed about at all. This slime then seeps into and clogs the gills of their predators, suffocating them to death. Then, having literally slimed their ops, they whip out an Uno reverse card and fucking eat them. This fish...
That was really cool. Yeah, this is literally the most sus Parz compilation of all time. Huh, yeah, they just imagine suffocating a fish underwater. Okay, it makes sense now. Okay, that was so cool. That I love. Thanks, Parz. Very cool. very cool. Very sugoi. The poor shark. The poor everything. Choking on slime. Yeah, that was cool. If you die, Hagfish's gonna be to clean up the body. That's terrifying. That's literally terrifying. I hate it. Okay, and our last video for the day. We are speeding through these. Holy moly. We're watching a casual Geographic. Boop, here it is. Why we owe a vulture on steroids an apology. Are vultures really this big? I thought they were, like, smaller. This doesn't even look real. Is this real? Turbo Cat, look, I got things to do, places to be. Hagfish do their service keeping the oceans clean of rotten carcasses. I mean, that's fair. That is fair. This is kind of like, this guy looks like an absolute unit. Why is this one fluffy? Also, this seems a little quiet. I might need to raise the volume a little bit.
Don't be scared. He's just a baby. He will get bigger.
He's just a baby. Vultures get big? I didn't realize they were that big. Oh my god. He's built like a beef Wellington, and he's just a baby. You could take him. I would lose. I would lose. COD 0, Vultures 1. I'm already gone.
Close your eyes and visualize the most disrespected animal on Earth. Now open them and apologize for not thinking of the living laundry lane. You don't respect this dinosaur nearly enough. Many people have never seen this flying fossil, or they have and never wish to ever again. The world would be a legitimate horror movie without them, yet this creature and its kind are still very much maligned by humanity. But you'll see why. The first two videos pretty much sums up our relationship with them, especially when you let it play all the way. I told you, just a baby. That is a baby Andean condor, and condors are Jurassic vultures on steroids.
Oh, so it's a type of vulture. Okay, so not all of them. I mean, I should have figured that out.
There's the Andean and the California condor, and both are built like a prehistoric paralysis demon. They're the closest relative of Argentavis, and I live a life of decency and virtue because otherwise I know I'd see this homicidal death pigeon in hell. Argentavis flexed a wingspan of up to 23 feet, weighed as much as an adult man.
Wait, I know an Argentavis from ARG. Those things are huge. Yeah, okay. That hitbox is criminal. I mean, yeah, they're a bit massive, yeah.
Man, it would have been about the size of a Cessna 152, and on the ground they would have looked that same grown man in the eye. The condors of today are slightly smaller, with Andeans having a wingspan of nearly 11 feet, which is how the bird can stay in the air for hours without flapping their wings once. In fact, by using thermal drafts, one condor managed to soar for 5 hours and cover 100 miles. All that and no flap. The feather relic is also one of the longest living birds, with some surviving up to 70 trips around the
Wait.
sun. Not
70 trips around the sun? What the? Cow would be carried off. He's only half as tall. That thing's huge. I wouldn't even be shocked if they've, like, lifted up babies and like, other types of animals that are small. Because it's giant. Okay, maybe it wouldn't care if a human, but, like, this thing's big. Arc mentioned, yeah. Almost as big as Rom. Not quite there. Rom's a little taller.
only does puberty turn an avian dust bunny into Skeksis from Dark Crystal, they end up becoming the biggest
I'm just a baby.
birds of prey on Earth. You can't imagine waking up to a dragon and drag outside your window, and that's because you're not from Chile.
I think if I woke up and I saw that thing in my window, I would genuinely just poop my pants. Like I would freak out. I'd have to get curtains immediately and be like, nah, I don't want to see that. Because that thing was definitely, if you look at it, definitely aiming for this dog. It saw this dog and it was like, lunch. Big enough to give Cod a piggyback ride? Hello? Okay, it's big, but it's not that big. Hello?
You can't imagine waking up to a dragon and drag outside your window, and that's because you're not from Chile. Not only is it the national bird of Chile, shout out to Chile, they even have a Chilean comic based on them called Condorito. Lucky for Chileans,
Condorito.
this dog, and my mental health, condors are absolutely harmless. Unless you watch Total Drama, because that might have been the first time Alejandro got his rocked. But yeah, it's a good thing that a bird that could pass for a man in a suit is a scavenger. To be fair, that is a man in a suit, but it's for a good reason.
Okay, I was gonna say, this thing doesn't look real. That is a man in a suit. Okay. What the dog doing? Close the curtains and just know it's not an outside day. Yeah, and be like, nope. World said not today, Lamau.
Dude, I was kidding about the Jesus. Time really hasn't been kind to the condor. It might actually be the dinosaur left behind. Way back in the day, California condors made a meal out of megafauna like mammoths, bison, and giant ground sloths after they passed tense. It's believed that it was the presence of plus-size prey in the Pleistocene that allowed condors to get so big. The problem is, mammoths and giant sloths got discontinued a while ago, meaning a literal big bird got left holding the bag. It's a biological anachronism. The condorito was built for a time that is long gone, and when many of the megafauna disappeared, the condor flirted with the oblivion too. Somehow they survived, but that would not be the closest condors would come to extinction. The sick joke is, DDT was really good at murking insects, but even better at erasing everything else, and condors caught the biggest stray. Since the same pesticides would
That's kind of sad. That's really sad. What the hell?
weaken eggshells and cause them to break. Condors only have one egg every 2 years, and the lint chicken that comes out can take up to 8 to mature, and this painfully slow reproductive rate only made the effects of DDT hit harder. But wait, there's more. As an aerial coffin, many condors die from lead poisoning caused by the bullets hunters leave in the dead. Beowulf was a condor raised in the Los Angeles Zoo who was released to help contribute to the population. He never would, as he would die 3 months later with an air gun pellet in his gizzard and another statistic for lead poisoning. And if that wasn't bad enough, Johnny Cash nearly soloed the entire species. Johnny Cash is known for many songs that I cannot name, but I do know him as the guy that got high, started a fire to stay warm, and caused a forest fire that not only burnt 500 acres of a national forest, it cooked 49 of the condors living there. When asked, "Did you start the fire?" Cash said, "No, my truck did, and it's dead, so you can't question it." "Okay, Cash." When asked if he felt bad, Johnny said, "Well, I feel pretty good right now." Evidently, the
Well, how do you feel pretty good right now when you know you just hurt like a species? Hello?
forest wasn't the only thing that got blazed, and when the judge reminded him of his hate crime towards condors, Cash asked, why should he care? After the federal government took $125,000 worth of care out of his account, he got his answer. Also, I lied. I can name one song, Ring of Fire. No currency could bring the condors back though, and years of getting jumped by DDT, lead poisonings, and human hubris had the California condor population down all the way to 27 left in the world by 1987.
27 left in the world? It's not like 1,000? Okay. Yeah, that's terrible.
The bird from a land before time was about to flatline. That is until folks finally decided to step up. For all the damage done to the condor, humanity came in clutch for the cause. They went all out, first by capturing all the wild condors left, and when they were done, every condor alive was in captivity. Then they really put in work. Condor eggs have a longer release time than a Spider-Verse movie, but a biohack is that condors will often lay a second, even third egg if the first one is removed. So the strat was to collect condor eggs for caretakers to raise themselves.
I'm sorry. I know it's like super serious, but like, it's like, I could literally just see a caption for this. Egg. The Monster Engine Monster Hunter mentioned was based on vultures with the colors and their sense of smell, since vultures use their nose to smell for food. That's amazing. Newfound respect for Engineth. Egg.
Basically doubling the output.
Yep, that's an egg.
This would save the condor population at the last absolute second, as condors would begin to be airdropped back into the wild in the 90s, and today, there's over 500 California condors, both in captivity and seasoned across the Southwest. There is one problem with raising condors, and it's that the condors can become attached to humans, and like we always say on this channel, the worst thing a wild animal can do is lose its fear of people. The condor compromise was raising these floof nuggets with hand puppets in their parents' likeness. This allowed keepers to teach baby condors how to condor, while also retaining their natural fear of humans, which
that is so precious. Not sure if egg. Me looking at my food, reheating in a microwave. Like, that's kind of okay. So they save the population, poggers, and then they can become attached to humans. So that is a little terrifying. Yes.
I thought was what was happening here, but I looked into it, and this has nothing to do with conservation. This is just love of the game. Must be mutual, because if you look closer, that's also a condor in a man suit. Convincing, right? But raising condors is more than just throwing meat at a panhandling puffball. There's a method. In the late 80s and early 90s, folks started raising kid condors in this like daycare system, but with no older birds. But because they had no older birds to use as role models, when the condors were released, they basically acted like teenagers with their parents gone for the weekend. They do things like approach people, invade campsites, and even enter buildings. Things you don't want an endangered species doing, so we had to adjust. Instead, folks shifted tactics based on how wild condors come up and would have a baby sitting by itself most of the time, only occasionally being visited by an adult, aka a puppet. Later on, they'd be assigned an older mentor condor to show them the ropes, and in the final step, both would be moved to a flight pen for the fledgling to learn how to fly. And caretakers would teach stranger danger by using the business end of a water gun on any condor that got too friendly with humans to keep them appropriately people PTSD. They'd also use like shock therapy to teach condors to avoid frying themselves on power lines. But the job's not finished once you
Wow, so they put a lot of work into it. I wouldn't even think about half this stuff. Raising birds to go back into wild is hard. I was gonna say with the puppets and everything, and then like feeding them, and then not getting attached, and then like kind of not trusting humans because you don't want that happening again. Condor sock puppets hilarious. I like how there's one that looks very cartoony, and there's one that's like super realistic. The dichotomy of the puppets.
have condors in the wild. I won't call them the pandas of birds because, well, one, pandas don't deserve that self-plug, but two, condors have an even harder time making more of themselves. 25% of California condor eggs are infertile duds that have to be replaced before the couple gives up. Side note, I just remembered, condors can pull a Virgin Mary where a female can lay and hatch a fully functional egg with zero male involvement, like maternal menaces. That's parthogenesis, and
what?
I feel like having that move in your bag and almost never using it, even with your population halfway in past tense. Like I get that it's mostly our fault, but like help us help you anyway. There's no guarantee once the egg hatches anyway, because many chicks get accidentally poisoned by micro trash, which clogs their system and starves them to death. So researchers gotta constantly sift through the nest for micro trash, and any chick suspected to be contaminated is kidnapped and
No, they're just trying to. They got the microplastics. Immaculate burb. Yeah, it's kind of funny. Like, oh, the population's dying out, but you could make an egg all on your own, Ao.
Medevaced for surgery, which also means someone has to camp by the nest for 24 hours and keep the parents from coming home to an empty one and abandoning it. Gatekeeping a dragon from its child for a day sounds more like a Mr. Beast challenge than a way to spend your zoology degree. If a released condor can avoid lead poisoning, pollution, and getting deep fried on power lines, it'll roam the skies for decades and hopefully make many more condors along the way. And if they're lucky, they'll have the same partner by their side the whole time. Condors do not get enough credit for how loyal they are. The symbol of unity can have a 5% divorce rate, and a penguin can propose with his best pebble and still get cheated on. But for the most part, a condor will see another condor and just spend the next 40 years making it work.
That's precious. They're good burbs.
Unless death really does them part. But condors aren't just loyal to their mate. Believe it or not, an overgrown struggle vulture has a social structure on par with chimpanzees and wolves. Condors have a social hierarchy where every bird knows its rank, especially at the dinner table, where elders dominate, which is why those raised without other condors end up with avian Alzheimer's, as in they forget their place. But it's not just a hierarchy. Condors will have
a casual reminder, respect your elders, Lamau. Condors can pull Jesus, they can. Isn't that funky? I never would even thought that was a thing.
Friend group that they'll hang with, and if you're around long enough, you'll see them preening, play fighting, and even chasing each other. They'll even look after other injured condors and share food with those that can't do so for themselves. What kind of bird of prey you know that's moving like that? The social butterfly nature is why we had to put on the hand puppets in the first place. When I said condors can get attached to humans, we're talking about a commitment lasting years. Eduardo is an Argentinian cattle farmer who found an injured condor on his property and helped bring the bird back to health. Now, every once in a while, the condor visits a man that saved him as a thank you and even tries to preen him. But to me, the wildest part is the condor didn't imprint on Ed because it eventually went back into the wild instead of following him around. So this
I mean, that's good though. Like, it saved his life and then still goes back. Imagine a condor seeing another condor and then making it work. It's like, no, birds are more resilient than some people. Dang. Condor is a bro? Yeah, apparently they're a bro. And they help each other out. Parthogenesis is neat. Imagine starting out with one female gecko only for her to lay eggs and making identical clones of herself who can also lay more eggs. You're stuck with a colony of morning geckos. Yeah.
Venti vulture is actively going out of its way to see him. Who'd expect that kind of emotional depth from a cloud casket? Well, anyone who's worked with them, because they'll tell you that vultures are sky puppies with personalities that'll even have favorite keepers that they'll run to when excited.
Sky puppies, that's so cute.
They're also curious and will play with anything from actual toys to the socks and shoelaces of their preferred human. Many keepers swear by vultures being the most fun bird to train because their curiosity and attachment makes them act like precocious children always looking for their parents' approval. They're even on the short list of animals smart enough to use tools, with Egyptian vultures using rocks to crack open ostrich eggs. You wouldn't expect that from a career scavenger and death merchant. Vultures have been underrated, and fun fact, there's old world and new world vultures. And they're not related. Vultures are essential workers. They're just so important that nature went ahead and made them twice. But this is not a vulture glaze video, so before we talk about the good, we gotta speed run the side you probably already know. Everything I've said about vultures is still true, but it's also true that they have the nastiest diet of any animal.
I was gonna say, I'm pretty sure they feast on things that are rotting, right? I'm pretty sure that's a vulture thing that a lot of people know. It's good emergency survival for the species, but I imagine lack of genetic drift would start to become a problem down the line. Oh, 100%. Yeah, it's true. We can make the giant burb French. Oh, we can make them French-shaped. They could like hang out with us and vibe.
They'll eat the foulest, most putrid piece of meat like a kid eats candy, and having a weak beak and feet means they'll break into a body from the worst half. Which is why vultures are bald. No point in having feathers when you're gonna be neck deep in a dead buffalo. Being bald also helps with temperature. So does another thing they do. Vultures practice urohydrosis, where they'll leak liquid nasty all over their legs to cool off like sweat. So if you see a vulture with ashy feet, now you know. Also, some vultures will weaponize their diet, as turkey vultures will projectile vomit sewer-smelling foulness I can't even imagine. Or maybe I just don't want to. Especially if
I feel like I've heard of the vomit thing before. Rotting, disease, and otherwise nasty. They're the cleanup crew of the wild. Yeah, they're just cleaning up. They're like, funky little snack. And we're like, oh my gosh, wow. Do they? I feel like I've heard, like, I don't know if it's a rumor or not, that they eat the bones too, or do they leave the bones? I feel like that's something that I've heard.
they spray you in the eyes, and if it hits feathers, the acid nerfs the ability to fly. That's not the most offensive thing vultures do. Contrary to popular belief, black vultures will camp out and flock around sheep giving birth and immediately swarm the newborn, gouging the eyes out and eating the blind lamb alive.
Okay, that's not nice, vultures. That's not nice. Picture looks like you just heard something so offensive towards vultures. Oh no. They do crazy stomach acid power. Yeah, and they just vomit it up. That's quirky. They're like the bodies that take the forever sleep. Oh, the forever sleep. There's some species that basically only eat basically only bones. Oh, really? Bearded vulture actually eats mainly bones. Okay, so it's actually real. Okay, I wasn't sure if that was like a myth or something.
Not even mentioning what vultures do to the economy. You do know vulture vomit and dookie juice can cause power outages when they pile up on transmission towers, and that vulture curiosity can send your car insurance into
Vomits cutely takes out your power.
the stratosphere, as necro-tweeties are liable to scratch paint, rip rubber seals and wipers off cars, and even tear the vinyl seat covers from boats and tractors. That's not as bad as the possibility of them contaminating water sources with their acidic feces, when the coliform bacteria from it invades water towers or reservoirs. Not to mention, being the highest flying bird can backfire when they join the Mile High Club after getting rear-ended by a plane engine, which makes vultures, in terms of damage, one of the costliest animals in America, estimated to cause about $3 million and $1.2 million in damages to military and civil aircrafts respectively.
Okay, so they have a couple flaws. It's fine. They're trying their best.
When you add the dent they leave in infrastructure and livestock, vultures are capable of burning a multi-million-dollar hole in the economy. But the real damage is to the economy of your social life. Let a guest see, smell, or otherwise perceive a committee of vultures on your property, and that might just be the last time they ever come over. But most people would probably forgive all of that if they weren't so ugly. So it's not
They're okay. They're just a little special.
hard to see how people see a vulture and see nothing but a nuisance. Well, vultures have no business being as OP as they are. Many animals have powerful digestive juices to eat carcasses, but no animal can match a Hades chicken's internal fortitude. Vulture's stomach acid has a pH lower than 1, meaning they can destroy toxins like anthrax and cholera that would one-shot almost anything else. Botulism is considered the most potent natural substance on Earth, as the toxins produced by bacteria attacks the body's nerves, causing muscle paralysis, difficulty breathing, and even death. Let alone the fact some people pay to put that in their face. The vulture's nervous system is resistant to that same bacteria, and can also tank the same bacteria that can cause tetanus and gangrene with zero effects. Not to mention, when they're knee-deep in death and decay, leaking liquid on their legs not only cools them, it acts as an antiseptic that kills bacteria on contact. Vultures are what that 0.1% of germs are afraid of, and pathogens like tuberculosis, salmonella, leprosy, and even rabies.
Okay, this thing's kind of cool looking, just absorbing the bone, but that's okay. That's cool. That's cool.
Meet their end in a vulture's gizzard. Which is a big deal because if you watch this video, another plug, but you know rabies is the disease that scares me the most. The idea of a disease rewiring your brain chemistry for the worse while also making you afraid of water, something that is non-negotiable if you want to live, haunts me. Rabies buries an estimated 70,000 people a year, and with the most common cause of cases being dog bites, it's most destructive in areas with a large stray population, like India. But there's two things India did that gave rabies the green light. First was them criminalizing euthanizing stray dogs, but the main reason was a complete accident. Diclofenac was a drug used as a painkiller and anti-inflammatory for cattle, but that same drug also caused fatal kidney failure in the vultures that ate them. This did an absolute number on the vulture population.
So right when they got them back, oh no. Believe that epidemic's chance of spreading goes down significantly if vultures are present? Oh really? Okay.
With many species cut down by 99%. Not only was it one of the fastest collapses of a bird species, the consequences of the sudden disappearance of nature's cleanup crew was predictable, as a number of rabies cases skyrocketed. And you remember what I said about vultures in the economy? Well, the free fall of the vulture population likely led to the deaths of 500,000 people and an economic loss of 70 million, ooh that's a comma, $70 billion.
What? Oh, that's a comma. That's what he meant. I was like, oh, that's a lot of money. Psych, even more money. Since they eat the bodies that still have the disease and so it doesn't spread. Oh, and they kind of contain it. I mean, that's pretty good. So it's good to have vultures.
From 2000 to 2005. But don't think it's just India that benefited from a scavenger stimulus package. Anthrax outbreaks are a semi-common occurrence in places like Kruger National Park in South Africa and Virunga National Park in the Congo. Especially in places where you can have pool parties that contain more hippo than pool, and these outbreaks can kill up to 100 hippos at a time. Not only that, but these outbreaks can reach humans, as in 2011, over 500 cases of anthrax poisonings in humans were reported after 80-something hippos died of the same. Now imagine the carnage if you didn't have bald-headed equalizers clearing the disease for the free. Like I said, there's a reason nature thought vultures were so nice they made them twice. Vultures also contribute to society in less dramatic ways, as in the 1930s, the Union Oil Company of Texas started putting mercaptan in natural gas, and with turkey vultures often gathering around the smell, they'd use the birds as markers to locate gas leaks. Vultures also act as an alarm.
That's crazy, to locate gas leaks too? Wow, okay, yeah, we need the cleanup crew creatures if things would be bad. Yeah, honestly, I'm surprised we don't, like, see these more. It's kind of crazy.
Bell for illegal poaching activity, as them circling over an area is like a Batman signal to park rangers. Unfortunately, that has also made them a target for poachers, who purposely try to poison them.
Right.
Evidently, the only toxin vultures have no answer for is humanity. Like I said, you do not respect vultures nearly enough, and I take back what I said about them being ugly. The griffin vulture mogs any eagle you can think of.
Yeah, this thing's kind of sick looking. Also, the one that was, like, gulping down the bone also looks super cool. I mean, I understand why they're bald, because you explained it before, but, like, some of them could be kind of cool. Since the gas smells of rot, and they're like, oh, free food, yeah. Messed up. Although it's kind of sad that poachers are getting them. Because they do so much to help, like, man.
The bearded vulture is like a Pokemon fire type come to.
This one is super cool. It literally does look like a Pokemon. See a lot of black-headed vultures and turkey vultures in my city. They're always circling the sky or roosting in towers, but they also tend to clean up any roadkill around. Yeah, that's super nice. I mean, they do so much. It's like cool. Bro is T-posing. This one looks so cool.
Life. The king vulture is just an ethereal specimen of a bird. That is.
Okay, wait, hold on. Sorry. Hold on. We gotta see his face.
There's like a Pokemon fire type come to life. The king vulture.
Pog! Reaction image chat. That's so cute. Bearded vulture, there's a couple of those that live just above the family house. Oh. The other thing is I wouldn't want them destroying, like, the cars and stuff, but it's a good trade-off. Pog! It's so cute.
Is just an ethereal specimen of a bird. That is, if you can ignore the chesticle situation.
Oh.
And oh, my sweet baby boy. If there are no condors alive, just know that I have died. And that's gonna do it for this video. Make sure you drink water, hug your mother, put some respect on the vulture's game. Shout out to this comment for making me make this video. Acknowledge your father, and I'ma see y'all in the next one.
Oh. Oh. He's just a little guy. That's amazing. I still like the Pog one. I still like the Pog one. Where is he? Where's the little Pog guy? No, wait, I want to watch it again. I just want to see the Pog. I want to see the Pog vulture. Poor burbs. Yeah, the disrespect that the vultures get is crazy. This is why Casual Geographic is actually great. Bringing, like, attention to things that are just ignored. Gotta love burbs. I'm not gonna lie. I'm a huge fan of pigeons. Vultures are moving on up there. Pog one is great. I want that as my reaction image. She's like, Pog. All right, let's move to just chatting. We actually like literally sped through everything today. Kind of quirky. Let me just close this. I can't believe we got through everything today. That was great. Holy macaroni. How do we do this, chat? How do we get through all of them so fast? Oh, BB, yeah, it's time to go take care of BB time. Yeah, I thought it was gonna be like a 2.5, 3 hour day, but that was fast. Now I can get some stuff done, do more laundry, deal with the bassinet thing and Dawn jumping in it, although she's been good lately. So she's just minding her own business. But thank you gamers for hanging out today. Tetra is offline today, so she will not be streaming. We will be on Twitch tomorrow. I think Tetra said she had something really fun she was gonna play on Twitch tomorrow, but now I can't remember. Had to play catch up. Was your favorite rat weapon? Oh, that's tough. That's I don't know, I kind of like the orb things because they're just funny. Fast as fuck, boy. Yeah, I'm super fast. Thank you for streamies. Yeah, I'm glad I had some energy today despite being super tired, but I'm gonna make sure, yeah, Tetra and I rest a little bit today. I'm gonna get some breakfast because I'm super hungry. Again, thank you so much for hanging out with me. We'll see you goobers on Twitch tomorrow. Tetra's online first at 11 a.m. Eastern time. Otherwise, hopefully some videos will be posted soon. I think, possibly, so keep an eye out for that. If you're in the Discord, you know, you get the pings. If you join for the YouTube pings, you get that all the time. But have a good rest of the day, and thank you again so much. Bye, chat! Bye-bye-bye-bye-bye-bye! Bye-bye-bye-bye-bye!